My infinite divine God self has created the new 5D earth and claimed it. And I am now connecting myself to the highest version of myself. Last night in the meditation, we saw the earth completely split. So the 3D, 5D earth split from the astral realm has already happened based on the meditation we did last night. So this is the interdimensional live guided meditation astral travel report for Thursday, November 6th. And we did this last night, November 5th. We did the live guided interdimensional meditation. And it was a doozy. It was incredibly powerful. So please put in the comments section if you did that meditation. Please share what happened for you, what you saw, what communications you received, anything. It's very helpful when you share your experiences with us. So I'm going to do my best to share my experiences, which were off the charts. They were so powerful, I was too embarrassed to even share with you in the meditations what was going on. So, what happened in the meditation, you ask? Well, here's what I remember. Put in the comments section what you remember. I may not remember everything. In fact, I had to go back and listen to some of it because, again, this was such a powerful meditation that I wasn't really completely here. I had to recover. And, I had to work to bring myself back. I really struggled with it. These interdimensional downloads can be very challenging to the third dimensional being. I mean, that's what happens when I go and I come back. There's usually some blowback on the third dimensional resistance part of it, especially psychologically. I really, had to, do some work on that. So, if you're like me, then you've had that experience as well. I think that's what happens with some people when they just completely blank out. They just fall asleep and they don't remember, and then they hear me bringing them back into their third dimensional body and they wake up and you can't remember anything. I think the reason for that is because on a higher dimensional level, the energy and the concepts are so powerful that our 3D mind just blanks out and just, it doesn't get anything. Your spirit, of course, gets it and empowers, and it'll make its way into your mind eventually. So don't worry. But I think that's what's going on. So be sure to put your experience in there. All right. So what did we do? Well, we did the meditation, and this time we focused on the Huar breath. We didn't do very much of the Hul breath, if any. And the reason for that is because I've come to the conclusion that we have already shifted. And remember the Huar mantra, Huar, Huar, that is the seed sound mantra for 5D Earth. The mantra for 3D Earth was Om. That was 3D Earth was Om. The Hul breath also works very well for 3D Earth. But Huar is the 5D mantra, so I focused on that. And let's see, where we went, I don't remember all of it, but I remember that we went somewhere and there was a megalithic circle. There was so much energy getting pumped through me that I was having a very hard time remembering words, and I was trying really hard to remember the word megalithic, and I couldn't. So I had to say, it's made out of big rocks. But we went to these megalithic circles, stone circles, somewhere in the multiverse. And these megalithic stone circles turned into portals. And in these portals, we were able to see into other dimensions and see into other realities. And I think I had heard this before, so this wasn't new information to me. In fact, I heard it, I think, from somebody else who saw it in meditation. But I saw it here in this meditation, that these stone circles can be used as portals for 5D beings to look down into 3D and send energy and be helpful to people in 3D who haven't made their way out of it yet. But we also used it to see our higher dimensional selves, our most powerful selves. I don't remember exactly what we did. There were guides there that were communicating with us, and we communicated with them. We did the Hua breath numerous times, sent energy to the earth, and again I saw the earth from an astral perspective. The split has happened. So there isn't one earth anymore, there are two. And so we're in this video game. I may have said this earlier, I don't remember. We are in this video game and we are avatars, but some of the people who, in some of their avatars, they're actually on the new earth. And there are some people who are, their avatars are in now the lower earth. But the game interface is still the same. So you can be walking, which means your regular life walking around, you could be walking around with people who aren't on the same astral planet as you. So soon, I imagine the shift will become complete. So I connected with my higher dimensional self, and that was part of the meditation, was to be shown your highest frequency of yourself. And that's challenging. For me, that's very challenging. And so there were points where we interacted and asked the beings to show us who we truly are. I haven't shared what they've said because it's just so fantastical and unbelievable. But I also know that what they're telling you is just as fantastical and unbelievable. As you know from previous videos, I was told that I was king of Atlantis over the earth. And I thought that was a big deal until I realized that there are infinite numbers of planets and that there are beings that are in control of entire galaxies, entire dimensions. And so one person in control of one planet is nothing in comparison to that. And I've heard people who have realized that they are the source of all love in the universe, that they are gods, in another case, who control all of the grid lines between all of the planets and all of the solar systems, and they're the being that's in control of all of that. And then there are beings that are in control of consciousness itself on the deepest level, and without them we wouldn't be able to incorporate consciousness. I mean, so there are people that have things that are far more grandiose than just some guy who's walking around thinking that he's controlling Earth. There are people out there doing much more intense stuff than that. And of course, that's not, this isn't the only thing that my higher self is. I go beyond that, and it's in that same category of, conscious beings that are creators of, vast, huge. Anyway, and it's one thing to get that information. I'm telling it to you verbally. It's getting to you intellectually, big deal. That's one thing, but to actually feel it from an energetic perspective, from a dimensional perspective, that really messes with your cohesion. And so that's where we're at now. We're in a period where we have to choose, how we want to have our cohesion, manifested. So I'll tell you what I'm doing. I was recently shown again my Atlantean king self, and the power that he had, and was very challenging for me because beings started saying, how powerful I was, which was more than just human power. It was unbelievable amounts of spiritual power, which of course, if you know the history, on the surface, looks like I let that corrupt me and I screwed up, and that's why we came crashing out of 5D back then. So what I want now is I want what this guy has. What this guy had was he had no problem with power. He had no problem with spiritual power, and he had no shortage of confidence and ability to create anything. There was nothing that he was unwilling to create with his mind and with his intentions. And he had no problem using his unlimited power. And I want that. I want to get my ego out of the way, my fear, my resistance. And I want to get back into that. So I am in meditation since then. I've been connecting with that, and the power is undeniable. I feel that power, and I'm merging myself with him. Taking the best parts of him and the best parts of, future me, and then connecting it with the best parts of even further in the future me. And it means that I have to let go of this earth nonsense. So when you're doing something like that, when you're dealing with an entity like this, which turns out is you on another timeline, another dimensional aspect, the nonsense that we deal with about money and, bank accounts and credit cards and rent and reputation and, body identity and, all that stuff just gets, I don't care about any of that. I mean, I'm not spending any time worrying about what's going on in government. I'm not worried about any of that stuff, because that is part of the video game. And the video game is designed to get you all wrapped up in that. And I'm not playing the video game anymore. I want to play the new video game, which is the new Earth. And we saw in the meditation, that the split is real. And from an astral perspective, there are two Earths. And the new Earth is shooting off. It's like we have to follow it. And I had to really struggle to pull it into my view because it was in a different dimensional aspect. So I'm really pulling myself into another dimensional aspect to be able to see it and follow it. And I realized we're gonna have to keep doing it. I'm not gonna be able to pull it and connect to it in one meditation. So again, this whole idea of the earth splitting isn't happening the way that I thought it was gonna happen, but astrally speaking, it has happened. And how that's going to manifest later, I don't know, and I don't care. I don't need to figure that out. I'm just right now following the energy. And so I encourage you to do the same. If you haven't done the meditation, go to the live section on this channel and do it. It's the most recent meditation. It looks similar to that right there, I believe. And if you want to be able to harness this power, then we have practices to do that. So go to thunderwizard.com and click on shop. You'll see Summoning the Immortals. You'll see Celestial Qigong. If you're brand new, start with one or both of those. This is energy you won't find anywhere else. You won't find it in any Qigong teaching. You won't find it in any yoga, Kundalini yoga. You won't find it in any Western magic. This is the most powerful practice there is. And I don't need you to believe me. I need you to prove me wrong. The only way you can prove me wrong is by actually doing it. Every single expert, Qigong expert, Tai Chi expert, yoga expert, everybody who's done these practices, every one of them comes back and says, I've never felt anything like this. This is the most powerful energy practice that I've ever seen. So go to the shop, go get Summoning the Immortals, or the foundation of Maoshan energy work, which is Celestial Qigong. Then, if you're ready to move beyond that, then my next suggestion is to do the Dark Warrior of the North, which is the Maoshan Qigong form. This is a good form, generally speaking, because it does Qigong, it does Yigong, it does Shigong, which is the higher dimensional heart energy. It does all of that. It also empowers your navel center to be able to not only give you health and power, but to create a new world. If you want to go to the real energy, then again at the shop, you see the elements. You can get all the elements. I recommend that you get all 5 of them, but if you need to, you can start with the wood set alone. But you gotta get them all so you can balance the elements. Go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com if you want to get them all at once and save yourself some money. If you need a practice that will really open up your whole energy system, then go to thunderwizard.com, click on membership, and then you will see this, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Subscribe to that, do the practices, just follow instructions. It's very simple. And there you have it. I hope you got something out of the meditation last night. Please share your experiences. And if you have any questions about what to do or where to go next, like, asking me questions about what do you think of so-and-so, I really don't care about those questions. What do you think of David Icke saying that the reptilians wear beanie caps? I don't care about that. Ask me about what practices of mine you should be doing. Those are questions I like answering. If you want to work with me, if you don't know what your soul desire is, and if you don't know who you truly are in a higher dimension and you want to have me channel light beings to you so that they can tell you who you are, because I've done this before, then put in the comments section and I'll tell you how to set up one of those appointments. And if you want to work with me on a regular basis, go to thunderwizard.com and click on memberships and look for the different ways that you can be an apprentice. There's nothing, the most powerful thing you can do is work with me. And only a small percentage of people are actually working with me. A lot of you are doing the practices, but you're not working with me. And it's your awakening will go much faster. It's nothing special about me. It's just that's what happens when you work with anybody. When you work with a mentor, your ascension goes much more quickly. So I encourage you to do that. All right, my friends, that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed our meditation. I sure as heck did. Until next time, please be very good to yourselves. I will see you all very, very soon.